Good morning, upper sixth and lower sixth. So I was reading this article about the Ezra Collective last week, actually. It took me a while to get this one out. Something about your mock exam marking. And I was thinking about distribution channels. So it seems a bit obvious. We've spoken a lot about distribution. So moving from vinyl to CDs to streaming, and now back to vinyl for some of the niche growth that we see out there. So the bottom section here in the standards, which I've just lifted out of our scheme of work. So changing from product to service, or changing from service to product, or maybe a bit of a mixture there. Online distribution seems a bit obvious that it could possibly come up. And we're thinking about the importance of distribution channels. Now, from the perspective of this case study, this group started off in very small music venues and then clearly grew to what they are at the moment, which is clearly quite awesome. So assess the likely importance of Ezra Collective's early gigs in shaping their later success in the UK live music industry. So we can see that we've got the likely importance is going to be the first part of the hook, and its importance to their later success. So we're not just going to repeat later success in an abstract way. We're going to look for what their success is, how we could measure it, and that'll obviously be in the case study. Okay, so here you're going to be thinking on your feet about what type of definition you're going to be using for this. And some of these questions aren't so obvious, most of them are, but here you're talking about the live music venues. We're talking about that as part of the distribution channel. So moving on, there we go. So here's our question, and there's a case study. So pause the video, read the case study, identify some evidence. This is a 10 marker. So likely importance. Overall, it is very important. However, there might be other things that are more important. You are not going to say, however, it's not important. Okay, because that's probably not the best way of answering this type of question. And then overall, your conclusion will be, is it important or not? And then we want a justification. And the justification for this might be the absence of the early gigs from their career, for example. What would their career look like without those early gigs? And think about the opportunity cost here, if possible. There's other ways of doing justifications, of course. Pause the video, read the case study. Presume you paused it. So this is quite a difficult question to get started with. So it's really demonstrating an understanding of success, and is also thinking how this links into the research theme bullets. And clearly there's one link to distribution. So success might be the artist's ability to gain widespread recognition, go to venues, secure industry awards. So we're looking for stuff from the case study to justify what success is. Now, I wrote that because I thought I want to be able to contextualize success throughout my answer, and I didn't want to struggle through waffling a bit of abstract valuation as we go through. Early gigs form part of the distribution channel. And if you think they're allowing artists to reach out to audiences, build a fan base, and gain exposure in the industry. That's more gain a fan base, reach new audiences are also success measures. So there's so much context here for success. There's no excuse for not talking about it. So early gigs were important. Quotation marks. You can read. I'm not going to read this verbatim for you. We've got a blend with Afro beats, reggae, and hip hop. Vibrant ecosystem of live music events allowed them to attract early supporters, resulting in a strong fan base that followed them into larger venues. Okay, so it was very important because it led to all of these different things. If it wasn't for the small gig venues early in their career, maybe we wouldn't have even heard of the band. However, there might be other factors that are more important. Now, remember, this section here does not say, however, it's not important. I was marking a couple of essays yesterday from your mock exams, and a couple of people were for this type of importance question. However, it's not important. It is important, it isn't important. That's just a terrible essay technique. Other factors might have been more important. Okay, we're on a spectrum again. While the early gigs contributed to their exposure, other factors might have been greater for their long-term success because of the rise of streaming, digital marketing allowed the Ezra Collective to reach wider audiences beyond live performances, leading to increased visibility. Case and some nice signposting language. The case study states that increased streaming, accessibility, and social media and digital marketing played key roles in expanding their fan base. Okay, so the counter argument is there might be other things that are more important, especially now their career is growing. Overall, let's see if we answer the question. Ezra Collective's early gigs were highly important, very important. Just important would have been fine. No idea why I put highly in there. In shaping their later success. It's answered the question. It's a bit obvious that you've answered the question. Make it obvious, please. Don't waffle. Again, I was marking a couple of your essays yesterday, and actually, the conclusion, I was thinking, well, when are you actually going to get to answering the question? Eventually, you did, but what a waste of a couple of characters and time. Then we look for something a little bit more. Remember that little bit more we talk about in class? Without access to early gigs, Ezra Collective may have struggled to refine their stage presence, connect with audiences, and gain industry recognition. The case study states, what a wonderful piece of signposting language. Festivals, independent venues, and major labels invest heavily in live performances, highlighting that live music remains crucial for emerging artists. Remember, they were emerging when they were at the smaller gigs. This is in context. Without going to the smaller gigs, maybe we wouldn't have heard of the Ezra Collective. Hopefully that was useful. You can mark it against the marking grid. I give it level 4 somewhere. When I see you in class, you can tell me where you've put it. You might put it in level 2. I'll be a bit upset with that, but you can tell me what mark you've given it. Have a lovely Sunday. Bye.